Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of E-Heroes. For those keeping count, this is episode 318, and we're rocking and rolling. My next guest is going to give you the wake-up call, and it's going to be something that probably squeezes the shit out of your brain, because honestly, this is a guy I've been following for a long time. I'm honored that he's here, and we're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about your legacy. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. But like I said, it's a wake-up call. So I'm going to welcome Jeff J. Hunter.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. I love that intro. Jeff J. Hunter. He's gonna let you know about the little secret that happened on November of 2022. I want to ask you, Rob, where were you November 22nd
I
of
remember where I was yesterday.
November 30th of 2022 when OpenAI released a death warrant on human employment on that day, on that single blog post, on that little login screen, without the approval of workers, of unions, American people. OpenAI released technology that would make millions of jobs obsolete.
You
That's
know,
it. That's what we're talking about.
yeah, and the thing is that I look in my industry and your industry, social media, SEO, even publishing. AI is coming for us all. And I haven't been worried once because I think there's a lot of people out there that think, oh my God, Terminator. Yeah, it's going to take some jobs. But as an entrepreneur for the last 30 years, there's nothing I can't do. There's nothing I can't sell. I don't really consider selling because everything I do is based on trust and authority. So if AI wants to take that, they can try. But here's the thing. I use AI as a tool, and AI helps me. But a lot of people, I think, still fear it.
And I think the problem is that people aren't taking this seriously enough. People like me and you who are aware of how we can leverage AI to do more, to be more productive, to add more value to the world,
Mhm.
we're going to be fine. We're going to be completely safe. But what I don't think people understand, especially for those in the corporate America, or if they have a simple digital marketing agency who's doing repetitive things for people, like this technology sets the stage for legal corporate replacement of pretty much all human workers.
Mhm.
It, total transformation of every industry and profession is happening right now. This is giving the ability to eliminate entire career paths forever. We have people going to college for degrees that by the time they graduate will no longer be needed. This is
No,
the new war on employment, Rob.
I
This is the this is
and and
the tech job giants, these tech Amazon, Microsoft, uh, all of these companies are reducing their workforces and they're not hiring. Why? They're the first ones to understand that for the first time in human history, it's not the low-level burger flipper that's getting their job replaced. It's the smart guys.
yeah.
It's the data analysts. It's the researchers. It's the marketers. It's the copywriter. It's the marketing team. It's the sales team. It's
Mhm.
the call center. Let me tell you something. You know, I have a massive team in the Philippines. I have over 100 people in the Philippines.
Yeah, and that just blows my mind. I mean, that's incredible.
100 people in the Philippines that work for me. But what if I told you that the call center industry in the Philippines accounts for 13% of the economy in the Philippines at 1.3 one, I think it's 1.3 million jobs in the Philippines are call center agents. And I'm telling you today, we can use our phone, we can use an app that will replace all call center workers today. Can we do a magic trick?
Yeah.
I don't know if your listeners even care because see, a lot of times when I show up and I start talking, people are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Jeff, you're doom and gloom. You're so dramatic, right?
Well, and
I'm
and the
so
thing, and this is what I said to you off air, and I think all my listeners need to know who you are, is that, Jeff will share his joys, his failures, his successes online. He's so transparent. And the first time I saw some of his posts, I'm like, who is this guy? And I had to dive deep into what you do. And I'm like, dude is honest, honest, honest. Okay, he just took a huge loss on this thing, but he's telling his story. And I'm like, there's no other person out there that would do this.
I'm just trying to be real. And and here's the thing. I'm one of the people. So I've already consulted over 100 businesses on how to leverage AI, and I'm sounding the alarm, guys, because every time I go into a business and I show them what AI can do, these CEOs are literally lighting up their eyes, going, "Oh my God!" And
Hmm.
they're asking me questions that I wish they didn't ask. They said, "Jeff, how do I go to my team members and tell them that basically their job is being replaced by AI?" Like, it's not a sexy thing as a CEO to come in and be like, "Hey, I have a great announcement for my board." Okay, imagine going into your board meeting and saying, "Hey, everybody, I have great news. I can slash 20% of our workforce, and we're going to have a 20% increase in margin because of AI." That is not sexy.
Yeah. Well,
CEOs are not going to say it.
I,
They're going to give every excuse under the sun except for the real excuse that humans are replaceable with AI now. And I'm going to show you an example right now. So this is just using a free app, ChatGPT, and if you pay a whopping $20 a month, for you cheapskates out there, you can use something that's called advanced voice option. And now watch this. I'm going to hit the advanced voice option. Stay quiet for a second, Rob, so I can explain to it what's going on. Okay. So I'm on a podcast right now with Rob, and I'm trying to explain the AI jobs apocalypse that's coming, about how OpenAI has signed the death warrant on AI employment. And it's not going to be the burger flippers. It's not going to be the low level entry jobs. Those are going to take more time because of the technology, the electronics, the batteries, all that stuff. With the jobs that are going to be replaced first are the smart ones, the researchers, the marketers, the analysts, the coders. And I want you to give me some interview questions right now. I want you to interview me. You're an interviewer. And by the way, you are interviewing me from the UK, and you've got a briny accent. Okay. You're coming from that TV show. I can't think of the TV show on Netflix. Maybe you can help me with what that is.
I doubt Navy.
You might be thinking of the Great British Bake Off or something like that. Right, let's dive in. So, you believe that AI is set to replace highly skilled jobs first. As an expert, can you share your thoughts on what makes these roles more vulnerable compared to manual jobs?
Okay, now I want you to answer it as me. I want you to be an American accent from Texas.
Well, I reckon these roles are more vulnerable because they rely heavily on data analysis, pattern recognition, and repetitive tasks, which AI is real good at. Coders, researchers, and marketers often work with large data sets or create strategies that AI can learn to automate. It's like teaching a machine to fish, and suddenly it's catching more fish than you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case.
We're all doomed.
If that doesn't scare a call
Well,
center
what
agent somewhere or a
what
data
scares
analyst
me is,
somewhere.
and I've written a bunch of Rob versus books. It's my sarcastic take on callers who waste my time, especially Visa MasterCard scammers. Well, now they've taken AI to sound like one of your relatives, and my dad just got a call. He's 80 years old, and it sounds like my son.
Wow.
So they go through, they get their data sets from social media, they figure out who the family members are, they copy the voice, and then they try to suck money out of them. So yes, there's a downside to AI, a nefarious downside. However, you take all that technology, you can create avatars that are just like you. And I saw one, and maybe you have one, but I saw one Joe Polish was demonstrating. Sounds just like him.
Yeah, and I started something new. I don't know if I can share my screen here. Let me see. I
Where
can
I
can I
have
share
to,
my screen on this? I can, right?
I can if I,
So let me see. I highly recommend, by the way, everyone do this.
there you go.
Okay. So what you need to do now is you need to create a verification page. Okay. And because now everybody's going to be able to clone you and pretend to be you. So I highly recommend, if you don't already own your domain name, first off, you're late to the game. Start it now. If you don't own it, you better find one like it or add some, for me, because jeffhunter.com was available, Jeff J. Hunter is not. So there it is. I got jeffjhunter.com. But look, the internet's the jungle. Know who you're dealing with or get eaten alive while you're scrolling. Con artists are busy cloning my brand to trap the next sucker. Don't be fooled.
Mhm.
And everything about me, this page literally has all my official links, all my official emails, all my official websites, my address and phone number for people to know. And it even gives them hints on what my actual phone numbers end with, so they
I
know.
don't see your credit cards on there at all. Come on.
Yeah, I don't have my credit card numbers on there, but the point is everybody should have a verification page so that they can check and say, okay, is this really an official channel of Jeff? And even there, you still have to do your due diligence because people can fake you. Like I've been scammed before by a website that had an I instead of an L, right?
Mhm.
Like a capital L, capital or a capital I looks like an
Yeah.
L. Like I've been scammed before.
Yeah, and
And
I remember years ago when it was just, HTTP, and then they brought out the HTTPS. It was supposed to be more secure. Scammers got onto that quick,
oh
and
yeah,
even the Facebook blue check thing, they're
fake.
copying those.
Yep.
And so, you can't be sure 100%, I think, who you're dealing with, but there are signs that you can, like you just posted, these are your verified links. But we're getting into this gray world that people aren't checking.
And the thing is, you and I, look, I know that you think you're much older than me, but I believe even in my 40s, I've basically been alive long enough to see the whole 30 years I think the last 30 years have been the most important for technological revolution. We have the rise of the internet in the 90s. We have the smartphone revolution. Now we have the cloud transformation. Now we're seeing the blockchain revolution. Now we're starting to see the AI revolution. Like these are all within 30 years. It's like literally going crazy. And what we're witnessing right now, this isn't just another technological shift. What we're witnessing right now is unlike anything in human history. And as someone who literally spent my entire life implementing new technologies, I was an IT project manager in a past life. I used to work as a network administrator for a hospital network. Before that, I was an IT director for a school district in California. Before that, I was working at a computer store as a network administrator on the side. So, in all of that, I spent 10 years in college doing business and computer information system, right? So, like, I'm not saying this because like I'm just some marketer. Like, don't get me wrong, I love marketing, it's fun. I'm saying this because everything that I've grown up in IT, what I've discovered is going to shock everybody just like it shocks me. And I'm really passionate about actually protecting human potential. And I think there's some really disturbing predictions that I have based on my own independent research, of course, that I'm actually helping these companies adopt AI. So I get to see on the front line just how dangerous it is
Mhm.
and why I'm pulling the alarm.
Yeah, yeah, and I love that you're helping them with their human connection, because and I think that's a lot of people fear. AI is going to take my job. Well, maybe it will. Maybe it will. And maybe this needs to be the wake up call for you. What are your skill sets? What can you do? When I first started as an entrepreneur back in 1995, I owned a carpet cleaning business, and I had that for 19 years. I learned everything I could. I learned about marketing. I learned, never prepared me. It never prepared me for what I do now. I can't say that it did prepare me for marketing, but it never prepared me for AI. It didn't prepare me for publishing, you know, but it gave me the ability to sense in people trust. And I think we have to look at certain people. Jeff is a great example of trust and authority. He does this every single day. He takes the losses so that he can understand how it can benefit humanity. Even in my Rob versus book series, there's a title called Rob versus Humanity. It's not me against humanity. It's me trying to teach humanity to be better. And
Mm.
AI is just an extension of that.
Wow, I agree. And the other thing is though, not to pull the alarm again, but like if we're using AI effectively, it's going to make us more powerful. It's going to make us be able to do more things. But I will tell you that right now there was a research poll done by the PwC, and 75% of all the CEOs that responded to that survey said that 2025 is the year that they're doing their AI transformations in their company. Like there's 70, that means that 3 and 4 CEOs right now are planning on how to integrate AI into their business in 2025. They haven't really done it in 2024, but now they have no choice. They can't avoid it anymore. They know that the AI transformation is here. And 75% of all CEOs are saying that this is going to happen. And so what that means is we have a new wave of AI that will basically enable the total replacement of human workers, right?
Yeah, I mean,
These
Disney.
Rob, these AI models are becoming way more powerful. They can perform jobs that we never thought possible. And not only that, but they work 24/7 without breaks, without benefits, and without any complaints. This is very, very different than previous automation.
Yeah, Walt Disney just created their own AI department. And when big companies like that have entertainment, that have amusement parks, that then they see the potential in it, then you have to think, okay, who's going to lose their job? And maybe it was a job that needed to be lost anyway. I think that everybody deserves to have a job,
I agree.
but and this is the thing, the conversations that I have with my youngest kids, they don't want to go to college. They don't want to spend $100,000 to learn something that someone already else has learned, that's going to be out of date when they get out, and they have to have all these student loans to pay back. And so they're learning about technology. How can they implement it? How can they take advantage of it? How can they use it to make money? And
Rob,
those are going to be the new entrepreneurs.
I gave you you've already answered the question, but I'm going to do it rhetorically so that the audience can understand and just think about this. But do you know right now the highest adoption rate of AI is actually students? Students are using ChatGPT in record numbers. The highest percentage of all demographic is students because imagine when you were in high school, when you were in junior high, what was the thing you hated? You hated homework. You
Oh,
wanted to go play with your friends. My 12-year-old son, Rob, he's probably some competition for you. My 12-year-old son wrote a 40-page book with ChatGPT. And actually, I sent it to one of my copywriters, and she said it was good.
oh, I had a
She,
I had a I had a client that we're working on his book, and he says, Rob, can you use this interview? He says, I had it already transcribed, and I'm reading it, and it's like, who transcribed this? This whole thing reads like an ADD manual. I mean, it was just awful. And so I went to ChatGPT, and I said, analyze this person, analyze her speaking patterns in the video and everything, and then take this transcript and rewrite it the way she speaks.
wow.
It spit it right out. I gave it back to the guy. He goes, holy shit, you removed all the ADD. This just reads brilliantly. I'm like, and it took me like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
and so I think that is going to be the turning point. We I always thought, okay, people have said I was brilliant. I think you're off the charts brilliant, but we have to use these tools in a way that make other people look brilliant too.
right. Yeah, and here's the sad reality, right? Like here we are in 2024, depending on when you guys are listening to the show. But in 2024, resumebuilder.com did a survey, found out that 23.5% of all companies have already replaced workers with ChatGPT. That's 25% almost, right? 1 out of 4 employees That's kind of wild if you think about it, right? 25% of companies have already started to use ChatGPT and AI to replace people.
Mhm.
So really, it's not really if AI is going to replace your job. It's more like when
Mhm.
AI is going to replace your job, right? And
But
right
what,
now,
I know we're scaring a lot of people with if and when. What should these people do that if they get their jobs replaced? What skills should they learn? Should they learn marketing? Should they learn AI? Should they, you know, learn how to create a VA staffer like you did?
how about this? Let me tell you who is at most risk that need to reskill a little bit, okay? Because I only see the research on what has been replaced right now, and obviously I have my own opinion on what I think people should learn. But I'm just gonna pull this up on my computer. So it looks like, okay, so 95% risk. This is based on the Center for Economic and Policy Research and Goldman Sachs. This is a little chart that I had my team put together with all the numbers. By the way, they use AI. Um, Data entry administration, 95% risk. If you are a data entry person or you do admin stuff, you are going to be the first. If you are a customer service rep, you will be the second, 85% chance of risk. If you are a research analyst person, 75% risk. Marketing content, 65. If you are in software, IT, coder, 55% risk. Now, here's the one that I believe is going to blow everyone's minds, and they're going to say, no freaking way. This is not, you can get mad at me all you want. You can't get mad at the data.
Mhm.
Goldman Sachs and the Center of Economic, this is literally from them, 45% risk management. If you are a manager, you are at risk. So
Friend of mine said that the hospital he works at are getting rid of doctors because the computers are able to analyze you and then operate on you, and it's all based on AI.
that's it. And, I saw in that same research, it looks like there's going to be three main waves of this, what I'm going to call the great replacement in AI. The first wave is going to be 2025. That's where I said 23.5% of companies are already replacing. 75% of CEOs already said they admitted that 2025 is the year of AI transformation for their company. So that'll be the initial displacement. 2027 is when that phase is going to be done, about 2 years. These companies have already transformed their business. That's about 7.5 million jobs eliminated through mass automation. Again, this is from McKinsey and Company. This isn't my data. Okay, wave three is 2030. That is the part I believe is going to be the hardest, which is that's going to be about 14% globally of forced career changes.
Mhm.
In other words, we don't have any jobs for you anymore in this industry. The complete research analyst, done. I'm sorry, there will not be a research analyst. I can show you perplexity.ai. That, by the way, all the details and stats I got for this show right here is because I went to perplexity.ai, which, by the way, ChatGPT also released Chat Search GPT, so it's very powerful as well. I went in there and I typed, I want you to find all articles, research, and statistics about how AI will negatively impact jobs. And then I want you to write a 2 sentence summary of the main takeaway of the stats and then compile them into a list. And it said, sure. Every single stat you click on it takes you right there, tells you right where to look for it, and gives you a summary of what it is.
Hey,
Guys, you know how long that would take a human to do?
I remember in high school, even in grade school, when we were trying to do our reports, they'd say, go to the library, go to the Dewey Decimal System, go pull this out, go find your book. Like, what the? And it would just take hours going through these index cards to figure out where the hell you're supposed to find the book. Now you can just chat GPT. Oh, we were going through we were going through the French airport on our way back from France to the United States. And a German woman was right next to us. And she wasn't Googling, she was using ChatGPT to figure out what was the best recommended Dunkin' Donuts donut that she could try while she was in the airport.
Wow.
And she just looked at me and I said, "Oh, you're from Germany." And we had a conversation and she was telling me, and I'm like, people aren't even using Google anymore.
So let's give them some positive news. I know we spent pretty much the majority of this podcast.
Yeah,
Um,
we're telling them they're
being,
all gonna die.
yeah, I mean, look, I'll be straight with you. A lot of people deserve to hear that message, and I don't want them to sugarcoat it because I don't think people right now, Rob, genuinely aren't taking this threat seriously. They're not taking it seriously. And it's going to get to a certain point to where it's like, oh shit, it's too late.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want you to get to that, oh crap, it's too late, section. So here's what I want you to think about. Here's how to create what I call an AI proof job. An AI proof job. All right. Number one, do you have the ability to use AI to add more value to what you're currently doing? Okay. Now, that's only one side of this litmus test. The other side of it is, can AI do it without you? Can AI do it without you? So let me tell you, as a marketer, this is one of the things that I really love and why I believe that I'm AI. My job is, AI proof. I got an AI proof job. The reason why is because when you look at how AI works, what AI does is it uses data. AI is all about data. I don't care what anybody says. All it does is it's able to massively crunch and analyze data, and then it's going to come up with a determination based on the data. So, for example, if I am doing an email marketing campaign, if I'm doing a social media campaign or whatever, and I'm going to feed it all of these amazing AI, these amazing strategies, I'm going to have AI say, "Hey, what strategy should I use for my own business based on these other strategies?" Guess what it's going to do? It's going to look at all the different strategies. We're going to call those strategies zigs. And then it's going to say, okay, well, based on this data, looking at how these performed, looking at what these things are, you should zig this way because this is the best way to zig.
Mm-hmm.
What it's not going to do, it's not going to tell you how to zag.
Right.
It's not going to come up with something that we call a divergent brand strategy. It's not going to show you how to do something different. It's going to show you AI is going to look at everything and say, well, based on this data, you should do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to say, based on this data, you should do something completely different. Okay. So that's one of the things that, and obviously, I'm a savage. One of the things
No,
that I like to do is I like to look at what everyone's doing and then come up with something completely different. AI doesn't do that.
Now,
Okay.
one thing though, I think that the audience needs to know is that AI will only regurgitate what you tell it to do.
Hmm.
However, if you can input more data and say, hey, I want you to write this in Rob Anspach's voice or Jeff Hunter's voice or your own voice, you're going to get something that has a little bit more dynamic personality.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these kids,
But Rob, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's still imitating you.
yes,
That's the point, right?
yeah, it's going to imitate. It's not going to give new perspective.
Can I paint a picture for you? Do you like Star Trek? Do you like Star Trek?
I do like Star Trek.
I'm a huge Trekkie. Okay. Um,
I
live
do.
long
I
and
mean,
prosper.
Next Generation was my jam, and
Yeah. Oh, dude,
I
I just
like
started watching
Voyager.
have you watched the new Picard yet? You should.
I
All
did
right.
like. I watched the last season of Picard, but I couldn't get it because of my channels.
Ooh.
I
I just
did.
saw I'm actually on episode 8 of season 1 right now. I didn't even know it came
I do
out.
like
So
Strange New Worlds. I really do like that one.
you like that? Okay.
Yeah.
So check this out. I want you guys to think about the most famous character in Star Trek who's loved by literally everyone, Data. All right. Data is this humanoid robot who has all of the world's information, all of the universe's information shoved into him. And he
Hmm.
looks like a human, and he walks like a human, and he talks like a human, but he's not a human.
Right.
And he has so much data, he has a hard time processing how to use the data. And people look at him like he's weird. Why? Well, because he's not human. And so what he's doing is he can't really express true emotion. He doesn't have his own feelings. He has to determine and look at how other people act and what other people tell him to determine how he should react to things. And he has to pretend to show emotion. He has to pretend to cry, pretend to smile, pretend to laugh. And that's really where AI is right now.
Mhm.
And honestly, it's mind blowing to know that we're here because AI is actually doing a lot better than I would say 80% of functional humans when it comes to actually expressing themselves. Um, which should scare all of us, by the way. I think that if you can train AI to be so good that no one would understand if it's sentient or not, right? I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. But I believe that right now AI is good enough to pretend to be a human,
Mhm.
pretend to be human. Okay. Now that is scary as hell. AI today is already good enough to pretend to be human.
We'll see. Maybe we'll have an episode of Minority Report where it already determines that you're going to be a psycho.
Dude, your people are gonna listen to this show. They're gonna be like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Like, just mock my words. This is 2024 when we do the show, and everybody's gonna call me a freaking psycho crazy, as they've done in the past for other predictions I've made. And then guess what? In 2027, when everybody's losing their jobs and the humans are literally having to fight with the AI over job security, you're gonna look back at the show and say, "Damn, he was right."
Oh, I think so. Yeah. No, we briefly talked about, and I want all these entrepreneurs to understand that, we're here to help you. We
Mhm.
honestly are. I've been doing this podcast since 2018, and this is, something that I created to give back so that I'm teaching everyone the knowledge that I think that they're going to need. So this is why I interview these brilliant people. I get them on here. They whether they're psychopaths or they're telling you how it is, and so you can take the advice, you can tell them to shove it, you could whatever you want to do with it. But I want to tell you, AI is going to be here for a while until it takes over.
Yeah.
So it's you do with it what you want, but I want you to understand that if you don't adapt, it will take your job. And it's I don't want it to be a doom and gloom. I want you to, figure out how to overcome, how to learn new things. And but people are gonna do it, they're gonna take it like a grain of salt and they're saying, it's not gonna happen to me. I'm seeing it everywhere. So
Well, just this is your warning. Take it as you will. Take it as you will, you know? That's all I'm saying is I just hope you will give me some validity. I hope that you will at least take what I'm saying seriously, even if with a grain of salt, okay? Because this is a massive opportunity, and this is something, Rob, obviously you know because you're in my circle in my program and stuff. But like AI is the biggest threat, but also the biggest opportunity that we
mhm,
have right now as entrepreneurs.
yeah.
I have made $282,000 my very first year as an AI consultant. That's just bonus cash. That's all 100% profit. That's me getting on a call with companies and showing them how to use AI. That's all I did.
But and the thing is, you're a pioneer in this. Now, well, all I see is copycats, and every person and their grandmother is selling their AI course. And not to say that's not great. I love their spirit, but they don't have the information that you do. They're
Mm.
not pushing the levels or the you push the outer limits and to try to find out all the information you can before you go out there and create something.
Well, thank you for that. And I would invite all of you guys. Can I pitch my newsletter or no?
That's what you're
I,
here
I
for.
actually created a newsletter. It's called Just the Tip, Savage Marketer. So savagemarketer.com/newsletter. I just want people to know how to use it. I've created this newsletter that literally just shows you if you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, whether you don't want to be an employee anymore, whether you're a coach, consultant, entrepreneur, with strategies that will show you how to use AI and not be screwed over by AI. That's the whole idea of it. And we do a daily newsletter. It's been really fun. I actually have humans that I pay to help run the newsletter. Can you believe that? Humans, not AI. And it's become a real passion to me because I just want people to understand what's coming. And I do believe, I don't know, you remember the old G.I. Joe shows, but knowing is half the battle,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, and the thing is that I was hesitant with the whole Chat GPT AI thing. And I think it was a year and a half ago, I saw one of the things that you were doing, and I'm like, well, damn, I need to sign up. And that's when I started, experimenting with Chat GPT, see what I could do with it. And honestly, it'll do more the more you ask it to do,
Hmm.
and it starts to learn, what your requests are before you're even done typing.
Yeah, that's what I think people don't get is that like right now, remember when there used to be this prompt engineering thing? And I'm like, I don't think so. By the way, I was the one of the very few people that called it and said prompt engineering is not going to be a thing because the AI is getting so smart that you can even give it bad instructions and it will pretty much figure out what you want it to do. So, like, that is something that should scare people, by the way. The
Oh,
AI
and
is so good that it knows that you're dumb.
yeah, and if you have a WordPress website with plugins that are garbage, what I mean by garbage is you found something free, and now that it expired or it's no longer in the repository of WordPress, and now you have this blank thing on your website that's no longer working, ChatGPT can actually create a plugin that works, that's non-expirable. You just got to tell it what to do.
That's wild.
I've replaced so many plugins. I'm like, and I should be charging for this.
Yeah, you should. By the way, that's that other half of the equation, right? I told you the doom and gloom that AI is coming for your job. The other is you can use it to create and monetize. And that's what I think I'm the most excited about is it's for those of us who are early, it's going to be great. For those of us who are late, good luck.
And I want to share one thing with everybody is that both Jeff and I, in our coaching program, I mean, in our coaching companies, we started out as one thing. We've evolved. We've learned to evolve. We've learned to adapt. And yes, his title of his company is Savage Marketer. But the things that he does is way beyond marketing. And it brings in this human element. And you're thinking, human element? Where the hell is human element? It's all he talks about is AI. And that's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
Yeah.
That was the mic drop moment for the whole show. And I want to copy your book. Tell me more about the book you got coming out.
The new book I have coming out is called Legacy. How to build a life and business that outlasts you.
Mm,
And as a 30-year entrepreneur, I've been thinking about my legacy for a long time. What am I leaving behind? Yes, I've written books. Yes, I've done this, but what else can I do? What else can other people do? How are they thinking about their legacy? And I don't want people to think that they should think about their legacy at 19 or 20.
right.
But once you start a business, you are planting roots and you need to start thinking about the bigger vision of who you are, what you want to leave, and what your contribution to the community is. And that's what legacy is. You could be in the business 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You don't start thinking about your legacy until that 20-year mark. And so that's what the book is about. I want people to start thinking about their legacy.
Oh, well, thank you for helping me think about mine. I want a copy of that book. It better be signed. And can I give a little closing thoughts for your people?
Hey, go ahead.
So I know I talked about the AI jobs apocalypse coming up, and that is a massively real threat. But on the other side of it, it's also a massive opportunity for those of us who are ready, who are prepared. And a couple things that I would recommend that you do is analyze, is my job safe? Right? If you're an entrepreneur, the easiest thing that I would say and recommend to use AI to do is to make you money.
Mhm.
Because I don't know about you, but I'm motivated by money. I enjoy it, Matter of fact, there's not a whole lot of things that I find more enjoyable than making money with my friends,
Mhm.
right? And because you're in my community, like I love the idea of all of us winning together, right? The tide rises all the boats together.
Mhm.
So I want you guys to just identify in your business. This is your homework that I want to give you, okay? As I want you guys to identify a couple things that could make money. I'm going to give you some ideas. Number one, are you emailing your list enough? Okay. Because most people aren't. You can use AI to write some really strong, compelling emails to nurture your list, to drive them more sales, to bring in more leads. Number two, you can use it to create more lead generation assets, right? Lead magnets, trainings, webinars, right? These are all on the marketing side. Of course, as a marketer, I'm biased. Okay. And the last thing is, my favorite is, are you using it to build your legacy? See how that coincides with your book, Rob? Are you using it to build your brand online? Are you using it to build social media content? Are you using it to tell your story? And just like what Rob said in the very beginning when he introduced me, he said that the reason why he signed up for my program, the reason why he's in my network, the reason why he follows me is because I was very transparent and authentic in what I'm doing online. And that intrigued him because there's not a whole lot of people out there doing that. There's a bunch of fakers, a bunch of people that, here's my favorite. Let me know. This might be a little harsh to hear for some entrepreneurs, but I find that online, most entrepreneurs are doing incredible. They're posting all these amazing pictures. Everything's doing really good. They're very successful until you send them a bill.
Yeah.
Until you send them that invoice, then they give you every excuse. Oh, my wife's leaving me. Oh, my dad's dying. Oh, I had a really tough month. I had a client cancel. Like, use AI right now to generate income, to build a legacy, and increase your value in your own network today.
That's awesome. Now, let me tell you, or let me ask you, how'd you come up with savage marketing? There's a story there.
You know what? I need to do that podcast with him. So I actually used to work with Dan Henry, if you know who Dan Henry is.
Yeah.
And he's really big in the social media scene. He's really been helping a lot of businesses with their ads and marketing. He started something in 2018. It was called Savage Marketing Academy. And when he started the Savage Marketing Academy, he actually hired me, my team, to help do customer support for his community. And he had me come speak at his event in 2018 called AdCon Live, is in Tampa, Florida. And I was up there speaking about how to do marketing on LinkedIn because LinkedIn had just been acquired by Microsoft, and it was it still is a really great opportunity, but back then it was fire. Um, and no one was doing it, right? So what was really wild is that at the event he was giving away all these amazing Savage Marketer hats, Savage Marketer swag. Now, in hindsight, what ended up happening was we get done with the event where he's doing the launch for the Savage Marketing Academy, and his offer, Dan, if you hear this, sorry, but it's true. His offer was great. His payment plan sucked. He had a $1 7-day trial and then a rebill at $297 a month. Now, the problem is all the cheapskates that bought it for $1 are going to cancel within that first, right, 7 days.
Hmm.
The problem is that my team doesn't work on the weekends. And when people cancel on a Saturday or a Sunday, well, they need to be canceled on a Saturday or Sunday. His team didn't want to work on the weekends.
Hmm.
It was just a pain in the butt. And if somebody can't get their account canceled in time, it would rebill, and then you have a chargeback and a refund and all this stuff. And it was a nightmare. And finally, he just said, forget it. He ended up buying a domain called getclients.com, which he still owns today. It's his main core domain. And in 2019, I had a bunch of swag I stole from the event. I had the Savage Marketer hat, I had the Savage Marketer shirt, and at the time I had a black convertible Camaro, Chevy Camaro. And my son always loves matching his daddy, and he wore a black Savage Marketer hat. I was wearing a black Savage Marketer hat. I was wearing a black Savage Marketer shirt. He was wearing a black Savage Marketer shirt. And we had the top down. It was looking good. And this is probably in July of 2019. And I snapped a photo, California summer photo, right, with the top down. And I sent it to Dan and I said, Dan, we're sporting the Savage Marketer today. And he sent me a message back laughing, oh, dude, you guys look great. And then I just sent a message back. I said, what'd you ever do with this brand? He said, nothing. I said, you still have it? He goes, yeah, I still have it. And I said, would you sell it? I kind of feel like I'm a savage marketer. And he goes, I don't know, Jeff, how much would you pay me for it? And I told him, I don't know, $3,000. And he said, $3,000? He goes, Jeff, I could sell all the swag in my garage for more than $3,000. And I was like, swag? He sends me a wraparound video of his garage. His entire garage is filled with those giant plastic tubs filled with Savage Marketer hats, shirts, binders, boxes. You name the swag, he had it. So now that I know that's part of the deal, he said, I'll tell you what, Jeff. You sign up for my $1 million mastermind I'm about to launch. It's about $5,000. I'll give you the brand, but you got to come out here and get all this shit out of my garage. So the real price of it was free, but it cost me a little program that he did, which, by the way, I never shared that story before. So I'll have to send this to him.
And see that is Jeff's origin story. But it's great because I think everybody needs to understand that there are opportunities out there to buy businesses, to become an entrepreneur. And sometimes you don't realize it until you actually ask.
So sometimes you just gotta ask, just like you said. And it's turned into my podcast, my newsletter. It's really my content engine. I recently started a little project where I'm actually helping my AI consultants build out their own AI consulting funnels. So I have a little high level white label in there. And it's just been a really fun thing. And the cool part is, I believe that we're all, like I believe all of us have a little savage marketer inside all of us, right?
Mhm.
So I just love the idea that it's a movement brand. And I think that's one of the things, especially with your book coming up, Legacy. I think that, it's very important that you have a message that aligns with people and that is kind of like a creed,
Yeah.
right? That you kind of have a decree almost of who you stand for, what you believe in. And I do truly believe that old cliche, which I believe is totally true, which is if you stand for nothing, or if you don't stand for anything, you stand for nothing.
Right.
So this is when you're coming to build your legacy, take a stand. You know, if you want everyone to be nice with you, if you want people to be happy with everything you say, you should just go sell ice cream. If you want to build real relationships, if you want to build authenticity and genuine authority in your industry, you're going to have some haters. You're going to have to make some trolls. If you do not have haters or trolls, I
I try
promise
to
you, you're
trigger
not doing it right.
somebody every day.
If you're not pissing somebody off every day, you're doing it wrong.
That's right. Hey, this is
Thanks for
great.
having me, Rob.
And I want everybody to your website, savagemarketer.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, savagemarketer.com/newsletter.
Everybody go there,
I'd
get
love
on his
that.
newsletter, buy his hat. He's
Oh, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Savage Marketer, click on swag, get yourself a Savage Marketer hat.
yeah, right.
We're all Savage Marketers. I'm not the Savage Marketer. The Savage Marketers in all of us. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you one, Rob, if you don't have one already.
Nope, I don't have one, and
All
I
right, you send me your address after this, you're getting one.
So anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening, and please, share this out to everybody because I think everybody needs to understand not only who Jeff is, but what AI can do if done right, and not to fear the doom and gloom. So Adios. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, Jeff.